Today we're going to talk about forensic science and the importance of funding crime laboratories. What is forensic science? Forensic science applies scientific principles to legal problems, primarily in criminal investigations. Its importance lies in its abilities to provide objective evidence that can make or break a case in court. Therefore, the importance of funding for crime laboratories is essential for ensuring the accuracy and efficiency of forensic investigations. Investigators collect evidence from crime scenes, and then the crime lab will analyze the evidence, identify who or what or where the evidence originated from, and then compare the physical evidence to the rest of the case. This evidence is used to bring justice and provide answers in a court of law. Not only does forensic evidence help solve hundreds of criminal cases and legal investigations, but it has also solved a great amount of cold cases. The advances in technology over the past few decades have allowed crime laboratories to go back and review these old cases that had never been solved before. With these new practices and technology, there has been an immense success in bringing hundreds of cold cases to a close. One notorious case that was solved with forensic evidence was the Golden State Killer. This was a serial killer who committed at least 13 murders, 51 rapes, and 120 burglaries across California between 1974 and 1986. He stopped his crimes in 1986, but the case went cold until 2018 when new technology allowed the crime lab to analyze DNA evidence that was found on the victims.
This video
We're going to watch a short clip.
Investigators in California say DNA evidence led them to one of the country's most notorious serial killers. Former police officer Joseph James DeAngelo was arrested yesterday, and he is believed to be the so-called Golden State Killer.
For 44 years, countless investigators have worked it and have failed to solve it. Within 4.5 months, a team of 6 were able to figure out who the Golden State Killer was, and that was Joseph DeAngelo.
After the Golden State Killer was identified, the floodgates opened. And we were seeing every week, not only single killers, but multiple killers, serial killers. Every week were being identified from cases in the 70s and 80s.
Because there's been over 70 cases now that they've solved this way, and they continue to solve them at a fairly regular rate. And I think
presumably that rate's just going to increase.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more because it's working, and we are going to, help find these people.
But
All right. So clearly crime labs and their technology are advancing and are solving a lot of criminal investigations using forensic evidence. So let's take a look at the funding of crime laboratories in this chart. So basically, it is showing the different levels of crime laboratories. We have federal, state, county, and municipal. It is showing out of 39 federal crime labs, only 17%, about 18%, are getting $302 million in budget. At the state level, only 47% out of 193 crime laboratories are getting $700 million. At the county level, out of 98, only 18% are getting $300 million. And then at the municipal level, only 16% out of 79 crime labs are getting $277 million. These percentages, as we can see, are very low, which means the majority of the crime labs across America are not getting substantial funding. Now let's look at what capabilities this funding provides the crime labs. This is the second chart. Basically, these are all the different capabilities that crime laboratories have for investigating criminal investigations. Controlled substances are leading. 81% of crime laboratories across America have the capability and technology to solve cases with controlled substances. Only 63% have the ability to look into latent prints, forensic biology, firearms, crime scene investigation, trace evidence, toxicology, which is a very low percentage, and this is a very useful tool in a lot of cases, impressions, and digital evidence, which nowadays it's very important in how investigators solve cases, so there will be needing a lot of funding to get new technology and make sure all crime labs are getting this technology. And then question documents. There are certain capabilities and specialties that get more funding than others. This is because of the demand based on crimes coming through the labs and the technology available. Majority of crime labs have the capability of investigating controlled substances, which not only means that the need for that technology is significant, but also there has been efforts into improving the technology. However, many of these specialties are lacking in many crime labs. With more funding, there could be better improvements in technology and will provide more than 15 to 40 to even 60 and 80% of labs with the capability to solve these investigations. Right, let's go back here. Okay, as we can see, controlled substances gets the most funding out of all the other capabilities. Controlled substances are the catalyst to thousands of overdoses and deaths every year. With 81% of crime laboratories having the capability of analyzing controlled substances, this allows the opportunity to solve the majority of these overdoses and deaths. It allows the victim's family to understand what was the cause of their family member's death. Yeah. Then we're going to jump over to the final chart. Basically, in this chart, it is just displaying the number of overdoses categorized by specific controlled substances. We can see the numbers in 2011 versus the numbers in 2016. This further proves that it is necessary and highly important that every crime laboratory is able to analyze and investigate these substances. It is important that these victims get their piece. We can see that there has been a jump. Now, fentanyl is a leading cause of death. Ooh. A case to reflect on. Andreas and his friend Leah hung out on the night of July 13th, 2022. Later decisions led the friends to meet up with Leah's drug dealer. They had snorted perks and smoked marijuana that night, and later Andreas had fallen asleep. When Leah tried waking him up hours later, he would not wake up. Andreas was pronounced dead at roughly 5:30 a.m. To apply felony murder to a fentanyl dealer, the office wanted the ironclad ability to trace the lethal dose back to the dealer and overwhelming evidence of guilt. The investigation into Jacinto Jimenez, the drug dealer, developed powerful evidence of both. Here is a short clip of Andreas's mother speaking.
It was the worst morning ever for us. We got a phone call at 5:30 in the morning telling us to get to the emergency room, that he was unresponsive. I couldn't get myself to get in the car to go because I couldn't believe this. The morning of July 15th, 2022, detectives notified Nazaria Nunez and her family her son's death was a homicide, with two suspects being then 21-year-old Jacinto Jimenez and 22-year-old Leah Smith. Because the girl had confessed that they had bought 2 Percocets that were laced with fentanyl. Parents are often the first.
Great. Not only will investing in crime labs enhance public safety by solving crimes more effectively, but it also supports the justice system by providing reliable evidence and ensuring continued advancements in forensic technologies. Is there a solution? Yes, there are many routes to achieving more funding and hope that one day all crime labs across America will be able to be helping hands in serving justice.